CLT board. It consists of 3 layers, and the middle layer is rotated by 90 degrees to the other layers. So that's CLT. And that was one of your, I think, questions. This gives us the dimensional stability. And actually, each layer consists of several lamellas. I don't know if it's visible, but on this example, you have like 2 lamellas. So this is very small pieces of timber, and you actually cut through the tension, so you don't have the tension anymore. You still have some tension, it's still timber, it's still live product, but you are not struggling with it very much. And this cross lamination gives us very stiff and dimensionally stable, I would say, board. So that's what we had before any, I would say, CLT construction. After some time, we were thinking what to do with CLT. So we actually designed a system based on this CLT, because before that we were using these boards the same as these are actually just as an internal part of your design for the furniture, for instance, because it's very damaging stable. So guys are using that even for the tables, for the furniture. You can find these boards in your shops in South Africa and Woolworths. It's very damaging stable. Again, it's the biggest, one of the biggest advantages of the CLT. Boards are damaging stable. Some basics about the CLT, which is the CLT board. So we can see this. Yeah. As you can see that what I mentioned, typically 3-layer board, and each layer consists of several lamellas. And these lamellas are quite often also finger joint. And finger joint is like a way how to connect the timber and it actually discharge the stress in the timber. So again, tension, there's no tension anymore. 3 layers, 90% angle between the layers, dimensionally stable. As Richard said, very important thing about the Novatop producer against the other producers, we produce CLT boards in visual quality. Usually other producers, I'm not saying that the other producers are worse ones or we are better ones, we just produce slightly different way of CLT. So usually for the industrial CLT, you would see small spaces between the layers, between the flanks, so they always have to use another layer to cover it if the timber is supposed to be visible. So that's the difference between us, between the Novatop and the other CLT constructions. Okay, as I said, construction system based on CLT. We are using CNC machining, and thanks to CNC machining, we can produce very exact parts. Where, as you can see, like every wall, every opening, every angle, everything is pre-cutted by CNC machining. So we are working about 2-3 millimeters accuracy. So when we, for instance, this house, when we started to build, because you always have to start in some corner, for instance here. When you ended up in the other corner, you should have something between 3 or 4 millimeters different. Which you can. Thanks to CNC machining, that's another main point. Thanks to CNC machining, we produce very precise parts, which are pre-cutted. Again, visual quality of the timber. Very important information, which is like typical question from the architects. You don't have to have the timber everywhere. It's really up to you. Doesn't mean that we produce visual quality of your timber that you are going to have a mountain cabin in the middle of the city. Okay. We also produce the industrial quality, which is slightly worse than what you see here. Let's say the difference for price is about 5-10%. So you can think about it. So you don't pay for the visual quality, and you know that it's not worth it. So again, the design is not the part of the system. This is the most crucial part about the CLT and our construction system in South Africa based on my 4 years history here. Design, it's up to you. It's not up to us. So the first house we built in Belleville, that was the first CLT construction in South Africa. You wouldn't probably recognize that this is a timber house. From exterior, it's a contact plaster. Interior, you can see some timber parts, but it doesn't look like timber house. The reason why we have timber here, because we are a little bit mad, so we want timber everywhere. But it's really up to you. Sustainable construction, timber comes from sustainable forestry. This is very important. All the timber what we are using comes from sustainable forestry. Sustainable forestry means that we harvest only as much as it grows. All timber is supposed to be from, it is not supposed to be, it is from sustainable forestry. All these materials will be imported to South Africa. It's not only living class or it's not only business, but we focus on really efficient and ecological materials. The insulation that we use for this house, plus some samples were speed water during the day later. All these materials are really efficient and sustainable. The last thing about Novatop agreement certification. We got agreement certification like a year ago. It was a long process. No. Okay.
Just ask a question on this image. How big can these panels get?
As Richard said, we can produce panels up to 12 meters. The reason for 12 meters is that our biggest production machine, let's say, is 12 meters now. We can do that without any support, so you can span 12 meters now in this moment. Only thing that changes is a thickness of the element.
And the width, so if it's 12 meters long, how high?
That's the thickness, what I meant, like the
thickness
of the...
Yeah,
It's going in a container. 2.9 meters for the high top.
Are you limited by the
Yeah,
containers?
Yeah.
Get as big as you need?
But it's a good information, or it's input information for South Africa. We are really limited by the containers.
This thing is made out of components. It's very simple to do a lap joint and connect a panel up to make a bigger wall. So your wall isn't limited by the size of the container, it's just the component. But think about what's manageable on site, what's liftable, you know, what the crane is going to allow to pivot. Much bigger than that is chaos.
Yeah,
You know,
so it's actually a very, very good point, because we've done some construction with these big panels, like for instance this house, we use 10 meters panels, but then we've done construction here in Cape Town, which was the school, and we actually designed all these wall panels, which we'll speak about it shortly, let's say manageable by people. So we actually move these panels by people. So they could be 8 meters or 9 meters long, but they were only, let's say, 3 meters. So we didn't need any crane. So that's like lots of things behind it. Just like for the walls, we are using the part which we call Novatop solid. For the walls, we are using thicknesses 60 millimeters 84. This is the 84. This is the most typical thickness that we are using even for multi-story construction. This house is built from 82, even for the partitions. So, and this 84 millimeter thickness actually consists of two 42 mil boards. Yeah, glued and pressed together in a press machine. And as Richard said, we can pick up all the conduits and all these things. And how we do that? Before we glue and press these two parts, we actually drill the CNC machining all the roads before we glue these two boards together. So you drill your conduit, your roads, whatever you need, and then you glue it and press it together. And that's how we can have electricity inside, if your wall is visible. Again, it's not necessary to design all the things before. It usually doesn't happen that way. You can easily go from outside to inside, because you will never leave this part of timber in the exterior. You always have some sort of composition of your cladding, insulation, plaster, whatever you need. It's just important to always seal it, but that's details. And also, as I said, you don't have timber everywhere. So if you know that if you're going to have your substructure plasterboard somewhere, then you know that you have a space, because you can even put it on the bottoms, there's cavities, whatever. You always have to think about the system. So it's not necessary to discuss with your client always where his socket is going to be, because it's not possible anyway. So that's plenty of options. It's very important. So that's the walls. We call it Novatop solid. Thickness is 60, 84, 124. 60 would be usually for the partitions in the house. For this house we use 84 because one of the main advantages of the system is the possibility to extend the house. So the house is ready for the extension already. That's why we use 84 for the partitions. Usually we use just 60. 124, that will be for some major construction, some multi-story building, 5, 6, 7 story. There was your question about the fire. These days we are limited by the regulation, legislative in each country. There's no, we are not limited by the CLT. If we want to build, I don't know, 4-story or 5-story building, then we combine it with the plasterboard usually to comply these fire regulations. But there's no advantage, or there's no special thing for timber construction. We have to meet the same requirements as any other construction. Within 60 minutes with this system in South Africa, so we can build up to 10 stories. We know actually how timber burns. There's a huge advantage. With the metal and concrete, you are in the gray zone. You don't really know what's going to happen. Never. With the timber, you know exactly how much time you need to burn that much thickness of the timber. So there's a huge difference against the other materials. So it's much safer.
What about bugs?
Yes. That's a huge story. First of all, the protection of timber construction is based on the proper construction. So you can't have especially humidity in your construction. Obviously in South Africa, in the coastal zone, timber has to be treated. We also cooperate with the South African Preservation Association, so there's several ways how to treat the timber. But in general, every timber construction work is based on the proper workmanship. So you can't have any leaks, and if you have a leak, which is quite common, then the timber has to have option, or I would say you have to allow the timber to dry out. So if you get water in, humidity in, there must be space for humidity to get out. So that's the major issue with the timber construction. Because while I'm speaking about humidity, if your timber is humid, it is full of water, then termites eat it. But it must be treated in coastal area.
So the drywood termites in South Africa is only a problem on the coastal areas from Port Alfred up to Maputo. And that is the one bug that this is susceptible to. And for that, the National Wood Preservers Council has recommended a surface envelope treatment. What you need to understand about woods is very interesting. If you treat seligna through a pressure impregnation of CCA, it doesn't ngena phakathi. Okay, like the wood, the treatment doesn't get into the wood. So even if you're using treated timber in a building system, as soon as you cut it, you've got to do a surface application. The nice thing about CLT, you can use, and our Timber Life have worked with us quite a lot. They've got surface treatment, envelope treatments that are approved by the Timber Treatment Association, which are borax based, so that they are not harmful to humans. And basically, because the timber is arriving cut and drilled, your envelope treatment is on the cut product, and you can assemble with it. Novatop themselves here are confident enough in this building to not have treated it. They don't want poisons around them. They believe the timber is exposed and they can see if there's any borer attack. If there is borer attack, they will do a localized treatment of that spot to deal with what's going on.
Element. We are not using these solid panels for your roof or ceiling structures. For one reason, it would be really heavy. You would have to have a really big thickness of the solid timber, so we got slightly different solution, which is also quite unique in the CLT work. As you can see on the picture, we are using these elements, and these elements consist of two CLT boards, usually 27 millimeters or thicker, depends on your requirement, so which is the bottom part. Then you have the ribs, which actually reinforce all the slab, all the structure, and the element is enclosed with another CLT board. And all these three layers are again glued and pressed in the press machine, which give us very dimensionally stable and stiff, and at the same time very light structure. So almost the same panels of what we are having here. Advantage again, we can already fill up these elements with insulation or different materials in the production. So again, you save your time on the construction side. It could be, we sometimes add the limestone to add heaviness. We add insulation, different kinds of materials. We also prepare roads for distribution in it, electricity. You can see in this picture, there's limestone, different kinds of insulation, wood fiber insulation, and so on. Also your lights can be already in. Here you can see the fireproof box from a heavy duty plasterboard for your light, because obviously you can't put the light directly in the middle of your insulation. Could be risk. Again, we are using these Novatop elements for the floor and structures, consists of CLT boards and ribs, could be filled with insulation, and everything is pre-cutted, so it's very easy and quick installation. Usually for a house like this or for normal two-story house, we need like 2 or 3 days max for the shell of the house. So that's a huge advantage, because you can have an enclosed construction during the 2-3 days. Novatop Open as another product, almost the same like Novatop Element, but the product is open, or the element is open, so there's no board on it. We are using this product to have a open vapor structure because of the vapors, and I will not speak about the details that much, but it's just an open structure, and we are using it mostly for the roofs because of the condensation and dew point and all these things. Again, it can be filled up with insulation, as you can see in the picture, different shapes, again processed with CNC. Then we just take a crane, you can see the chain, and directly take the element, take a Novatop Open and put it on the roof.